Alright guys, hope you're doing well. This is Rowlands here and I'm a nutritional balancing practitioner. And in this video I'm going to address a very common question, very common problem that's on people's minds. And it's basically dealing with the current world climate, the current world events. Because understandably there's a lot of doom and gloom going off at the moment. And a lot of bad things seem to be coming to the earth. In the UK, for example, a massive event happened yesterday whereby the Prime Minister basically told everyone that you can't go into clubs or events starting September without your COVID passport. But the big difference is no longer can you get into these places with a negative test or proof of natural immunity. You're only allowed in these places if you've been double jabbed. So this is a huge turning point as far as I'm concerned, because it means people like me who have actually caught COVID and have natural immunity. I have done blood serum tests and I do have antibodies, that I'm no longer allowed in events and clubs. I'm not so bothered about the club situation, but I do like to go to events and socialise with friends. So this is a huge thing. And on videos I've been making, a lot of the comments I've been getting is, yep, nice video, but how can I come to terms with what's going off in the world? So I'm just going to explain how I do it and my mindset at the moment. And don't get me wrong, I'm not made out of steel. When this all started happening in the early days, there was some fear cropping up about what's happening, and is it linked to various things like EMFs and stuff, and trying to figure all that out, and all of the research I've done on things like Agenda 21 and the Great Reset. Yeah, there was fear there, and I had to navigate that fear. So the way that I deal with this situation is sort of twofold. The first thing, the first way I deal with it is understand that I'm a light worker. I've come to the planet to help the planet, to help heal the planet, as sort of a missionary or an agent of God. And if God keeps working for good and light, then I'll keep working for good and light. God's not giving up, so why should I give up? Just like Moses in the Bible, and other characters, when there is a major event in the world, the people that are on the good side will be saved by God. So that's the first way to look at it, but that doesn't solve, the day-to-day anxiety. So the second way that I deal with this is I realise that as an individual, I have power over the way that I live my life day to day, as much as possible. I mean, even in prison, you could, put these ideas into effect. So basically, you guys need to watch my video, which talks about fulfillment, how to live a fulfilled life every day. And in that video, I talk about analysing human needs and human wants and human desires, and categorising them, ranking them. So every day I wake up and plan my day based on my categories, which categories a week. And I plan days. It might be a day with friends, it might be a day doing YouTube videos, it might be a day doing my mission and purpose. And I try and kill 2, 3, 4, 5 birds with one stone. So I might go and visit my grandparents while doing some of my mission, and then go and meet friends. And basically my days are planned out that fulfills me as an individual. So what that means is that I'm not so caught up in the world events. I'm more caught up in what makes me happy, content and fulfilled on a day-to-day basis. Which means that, if you want to go down the route of everything's gonna be dark and abysmal, and there's a depopulation thing going off. I say to my girlfriend, at least I'll die happy. At least I'll die happy. At least every day I'll look at my categories and I'll try and make the best out of it. Even if I was locked up, I would look at my categories and I'd think, how can I enjoy myself with other people in this environment? How can I get hold of some creative materials to enjoy my day? How can I improve my spiritual well-being? I'm pretty sure it's not going to be great if you're locked up, but instead of being morbid about it, I just look at what makes me fulfilled and happy as an individual, and get to work sort of planning things and doing things. So that would be my advice. 1, do the program, get in touch with God, get out in nature. That's a big thing for me. Is the natural world. As far as I'm concerned, in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, when God talks about the Garden of Eden, that is basically the earth's natural state, and everything was in symbiosis, in harmony. So these days I go to a lot of bushcraft events, and it's amazing how much you learn from reconnecting yourself with nature and the planet. It's quite amazing and humbling, actually. I'll give you a couple of examples. Lighting fires. So if you go out and try and light a fire, you will find that every time you light a fire, it takes care, dedication, patience. It's not as simple as going in the kitchen and turning on the hob. It's an experience whereby you have to give and then you receive. And there's so much to learn in there, from humbleness to perseverance to patience. And then once you've actually accomplished that, you get a lot of big morale boost, contentment, happiness. So, reconnecting with our natural state brings so much. I was carving a spoon the other day. It's taken me 3-4 hours just to carve a spoon. And you think, oh, why do you want to do that? You just go to the shop and buy one. But the act of reconnecting myself to the natural world and taking my time, and once I finish this spoon, I'm going to cherish it forever. And it makes you realise how important it is just to live simple and have good quality things around you, rather than living an easy life where everything's available and you can buy something off Amazon and it comes the next day. Don't get me wrong, you need to buy some tools in order to be able to maneuver yourself in these environments. A good knife, a saw, an axe, for example, which you've got to buy. But I do believe that this is part of human nature, is tool building. And I personally believe that in the Bible, when God said we sort of ate from the tree of knowledge, that is when our egos come into play. We separated ourselves from the natural world of harmony and overseers of the world and keepers of the planet, and we went into materialism and anger, jealousy, detachment from God. So I personally find I get the most fulfillment, that fulfillment everyone's looking for, that sort of contentment that you're connected and belonged. I don't find that from a church. I actually find that from going out into the natural world and sitting by a lake, looking at the stars, making a fire, carving a spoon, foraging for whatever's around, going hunting and having conscious hunting, where you sort of consciously take in meat, etc., and you sort of you cherish it much more. So yeah, dwell on them things. Them two things have really helped me, and even now after the announcement, whatever. There's probably ways and means of getting around it if I want to go to events, but to me, I just think, well, I'll just invite my friends around more, to events I'll make in my own garden. I invited my sister and her partner over to my house the other day, I made a fire. You know, we made the fire using a bow drill, you know, and they really loved it. You know, making that fire from scratch, it meant something. I carved out some kebab sticks, and we basically add vegetables and chicken, you know, on a kebab over the fire. And, you know, those experiences are priceless, really. And I was feeling really good after it. So try not to get yourself too disheartened. If you sit and read the news and read Facebook every day, you're going to get depressed, because the world is insane. You know, as Dr. Wilson, I read on one of Dr. Wilson's articles. You know, if you try and be happy within the insanity that's going off around you, you'll probably go insane, because we live in a circus. So it's your job, you know, and also reconnecting to the natural world and learning all of these amazing skills. Really what you're doing is you're actually doing God's work. You're trying to return the earth back to a state of Eden, you know. And I'm not saying everyone needs to go and, you know, live outside or whatever. There's definite benefits to the modern world, but it's about taking what's good about the modern world and trying to harmoniously return back to the earth, in my opinion, because that's really the only way of healing the earth. You know, it's not consuming all the plastic and consuming all the rubbish and consuming all the materialism, you know, and even consuming the internet. You know, all these things, to a degree, you know, push us further and further away from harmony. So yeah, watch the video on fulfillment. You know, I am going to be integrating all this into my new application. For anyone interested, version 2 of the hair analysis app is going to be coming out really soon. You can see your hair test side by side. It has more patterns on it. It loads, you know, in under a second. It's super powerful. So if you do want a hair report and supplement recommendations, then head over to www.hairanalysis.report. So that's everything for this video. Thanks for listening, and I will speak to you soon.